Hello, you guys. Welcome to At the Table podcast, a virtual table where we discuss all things. My name is Vikayo, and thank you so much for having me in your ears. But today, we are met with a very special guest, Adewale Alli. And in today's episode, Wale takes us through the journey of being an artist. This episode is like none other that I have recorded or made before because like a true artist, Wale does a great job in letting us see the world in which he perceives. And it's so interesting because he is a traditional artist. So we're used to seeing his art, but today you're going to hear his world and how he perceives the world around him and how that is articulated in his art. Today's episode is not one you want to miss. So come on, grab a seat, and are you ready? Welcome to At the Table podcast. Welcome, Wale, to At the Table podcast. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. I'm really excited for this episode. So are you ready? Are you ready for your interview, Wale?
Yes, I am ready for this interview. Let's do it.
Wonderful. So the very first question I ask all of my guests is, well, Wale, who are you?
Well, I am a multidisciplinary visual artist from Nigeria, based in Baltimore. I'm obsessed with themes of spirituality and identity, space, anything that involves expanding one's imagination. I live in my head. Oh my God, I live in my mind. I'm like 80% there, 20% here. What else? Who am I? And I am God.
Elaborate.
I am an expression of that thing that is, because it is I am. Mm-hmm. And I just really identify with that.
You identify with
God. That thing that is, and because it is, I am. Try not to put a label on it.
Mm-hmm. I see. We'll get into that. But I would like to go a bit into your journey in the world of art. Like, what initially inspired you to be an artist?
Okay, so in primary 3, there was this guy in my class, his name was Benga. He used to draw really well.
Shout out Benga.
Shout out Benga. I don't know why I do this. He used to draw really, really well. And I used to beg him to draw for me. Or give him like lunch money. I was giving him something. So just draw for me. Let me carry it home. And then one day I carried one of the drawings home and I pinned it up on the wall in my room or something. And Popsy came in. My dad came in. And he saw the drawing and he really liked it. And he was asking me whether I was the one that did it. And I wanted to lie. I wanted to tell him yes. But then I was like, wow, I lied to my dad. I just told him no, it's a friend of mine that did it. And he saw that I hesitated and just kept digging. And he was like, why did I hesitate? Why did I pause? What's wrong? What's going on? I told him that I really wish I could do stuff like that. But I don't have the talent to be able to draw as well as Benga. And then he sat me down and started giving me this speech about how, he sat me down. He told me to get pencil and paper for him. And he drew this ugly ass dinosaur. But back then it was like, oh my God, my dad can draw. And he drew this ugly ass dinosaur and he went on this speech, his rant about how art is in our blood. And he grew up with artists, he grew up with an uncle that was an artist, and he's been living with that uncle since he was like a kid. And so that was family. And so he was trying to encourage me by telling me that, but he lied to me. He was making it seem like, it's like some superpower type thing, like it's in our blood to be artists. And that's how I took it. Like, oh shit, we have a it's a genetic thing. My dad can draw. He just drew a fucking dinosaur. So guess what? I can fucking draw. Because Superman, if Superman has a kid, guess what? Superboy, his kid is going to be super like him. So if my dad can draw this fucking dinosaur, guess what? I can draw too.
Yeah.
And I psyched myself from then on into this, this space where like, oh, you can draw, you're an artist, is your blood. You just gotta like practice. Like when you have a superpower, when you discover you have a superpower, the only way you can get better at it is by practicing and doing it over and over. So I just started doing that. And I used to watch a lot of like Justice League and like a lot of animation. I was a kid. I was a kid with very wild imagination. So I just kind of like I went about it that way. Like, okay, it's a superpower, and let me exercise this. Let me build on this. Let me get better at it because it's in my blood, as my father said. So yeah, it was based on a lie. I'm glad he lied to me because now I am where I am.
That is so cool though. I also, when I was younger, I used to draw as well, and I would look at people who just knew how to draw, and I was like, people are talented. Like, wow, you know what? This drawing thing, me too. I must learn it. So I went to go and teach myself how to draw, and it was actually pretty impressive to some point. But I think it's so cool. Like, you can really do whatever you put your mind through as long as you put in the work. And I think that's a topic like I would like to explore. Do you have any opinions on that?
Yes, I believe attention is consciousness. Whatever you direct your attention to, that's that thing. You figure it out. Like you just like if you put in the work, you put in the time, you put in like that's basically what I did. I taught myself. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna learn this shit, and I just went at it. I went on YouTube. How do you draw a nose? How do you draw this? Like little by little, I started like getting there. And before I knew it, I'm like drawing like portraits, realistic looking portraits. And now I'm doing something else way beyond how, what I started with. So yeah, if you put your mind to it, definitely gonna see results.
That's pretty cool. Do you see that, like, that same lesson in any other part of your life as well?
Yeah, I got into IT. I had no experience, but I put my mind, okay, you have to make money. You have to make money because there's a lot happening. And I needed a really good paying job at that time. And I just had to like go hard, and I studied and I got a job.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, just put your mind to it.
Yeah, that's like, and that's the thing that I always reiterate to people, like, once your mind is somewhere, the possibility for it to expand is beyond you. You have no idea. Just focus. But I really am happy that you touched on that, as it pertains to everything from art and drawing and your imagination all the way up until your professional career. Like, as long as you put your mind on something, you can do it. My next question is, well, we're both Nigerian. I wonder, like, does your Nigerian culture ever find expression in your artwork? And it doesn't have to be direct though. Like, it doesn't have to be like, oh yeah, I use the patterns in Ankara on my drawings. But like, even maybe like, I don't know, like subliminally.
Like, okay, for me, initially it was this whole drawing thing, like me learning how to draw really well. It's because growing up, you're not really recognized as an artist. Like for me, with my parents and like, people around me, like, they didn't really recognize me as an artist until I started like drawing images of people that they could recognize. Like, oh, you drew this person. It looks like this person. That was the first influence. And then as I grew older, it became more me just contemplating my childhood and thinking about how much of a role spirituality has played, like religion. Like growing up, in Nigeria, our parents were very religious, very spiritual. Like you go to church, you go to camp, all this type of stuff. Like, so spirituality is another way, and it's really showing in my practice right now. Me talking about God and my relationship with God. But then coming to America, I started getting more influenced by the scientific way of looking at things because, now like I have access to more information. And so I'm in a space where I'm trying to like merge the two in my practice because I see that they are kind of like different sides of the same coin.
Like, that's such a perfect segue into my next question. But how does your work bridge that gap between science and spirituality?
So science and religion can be seen as parallels, like parallel ways, the parallel attempts to understand our place in the universe.
Right. Okay.
And I believe like they approach it they approach it using different methods. Science seeks to explain the natural world through observation, experimentation, evidence, all that. But religion provides explanations through faith, tradition, and spiritual experiences. But what I see is that they both arise from like this curiosity and desire to make sense of our existence.
I'm following.
You feel me?
Yeah.
And so like they kind of, yeah.
So how does that find expression in your work?
So like me talking about me pursuing God through the cosmic lens, the cosmos is more of the scientific way of looking at things. And this concept of God is more
Explain
like
that to me. The cosmos.
space. Us, we come from space. We come from stars. Right? Concepts like the Big Bang, and that's the scientific way of trying to make sense of where we come from, what we are, who we are, and where we come from.
Yeah.
But then with religion, it's God created everything. And it's just two different ways of like looking at the same thing. And so I'm trying to find the ways. I'm trying to bridge that by having this conversation about my relationship with God, but through a cosmic lens. Because as I said, we come from stars, we're expression of stars. And I believe that that is physical connection to divinity.
So even as I'm thinking about it, right, and this concept is rather new to me, it feels like I'm falling in on myself, like mentally, right? How do you find grounding in that? Does that make sense?
There's no grounding.
There is no grounding.
There's no grounding. That's the scary part. That's the scary part. Exploring the unknown.
Yeah.
That's the scary part of it. But you just keep going.
And how do you know when you've gotten there? Wherever there is.
I don't plan on getting anywhere.
Well, there's no destination. It's just the journey.
It's just because that's what all this is. Life is a journey. All of this, it's a journey. And going on this journey, trying to better understand my relationship with divinity, not just an imagined one, but also like in a literal sense,
right?
Physical sense,
right? In a tangible sense, and then a way that like you can show it to people too. Like, look, see.
We're from stars, and I equate stars to like celestials in gods because they exist at a scale way beyond us. They exist in the same space as we do. And at some point in our lives, we were worshiping the sun for a reason.
Can you walk us through your creative process? Like, how do you do it?
Okay, so I never really know what it's going to look like in the beginning. I just start painting ideas in like shapes, different forms, just different ideas just start coming to me and I just start putting them on the canvas. So each idea is like a layer. So I'll do one layer, and then I paint over that idea, another layer. And I do that like 5, 6 times. And this is all with like different colors. So it looks really messy at first, it looks weird. But then I cover it up with black and I go at it. I chip away at the paint with a lot of heat and pressure. So I get a heat gun and a stick and I chip away at the surface of the painting until all the different ideas and all the different layers underneath start showing through. And after doing that, I get this very beautiful looking, cosmic looking thing. And I just keep building on from there. So like I can, decide to add stars to it, add black holes, add different cosmic elements to it. And I just keep doing that until I feel like it's ready. There's no like, oh, this is what I want it to look like. I might have an idea in my mind, but then if I put one star on the right side, I'll be like, like initially I probably wanted to put a star on the other side, to complement the one on the right side. But then seeing it on the right side is like, no, I don't want it on the left anymore. I want it at the bottom down here because, there's also like a type of balance that goes on when you're working. So like, yeah, I just keep doing that until the painting feels right, until it feels ready, until I look at it and I'm like, okay, you look kind of cool. I like you like this. And then it's finished. but a painting is never finished. It's just the level at which you're willing to go.
Yeah. I remember I asked you that. I was like, when do you know it's finished? And as an artist, sometimes you never know. You just think you
Never.
hope it's good
It's
enough.
never. It's never. There's always something new for it. It just depends on like where you are mentally, psychically.
Mhm.
Like if you like back in the day, like what I used to paint is different from what I'm painting now. I'm adding more details in my work because I've been working on it for so long. I've gotten better at what I'm doing. I know how to make stars better now. I'm able to play around with it better
Yeah.
because I've been doing it. And so like the extra stuff that I'm doing now, I wouldn't have done it back then because I didn't have the experience, I didn't have the knowledge, I didn't have the confidence. I think that's it, the confidence to go at it. But now I do. But then even where I'm at right now is also not like years from now, I'll be looking at where I'm at right now as, oh, I wasn't confident enough to go past this level.
Yeah. But isn't that cool though that like not only does your art speak to you in the literal way of the way you're making it, right? But it also speaks to your experience. Like it's constantly evolving as you're constantly evolving and it's talking back to you. Like now I've learned this new skill. Now I can go back. But the Wale then when I made this other piece, I didn't know this new skill. Now like it's calling you back to use the new skill to put on this one now. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and even the old ones, I try not to touch them because like so I'm able to see the growth. So it's not just like because I can go back and touch up on my older pieces and make them look like what I'm making now, but then it loses that element. It loses something in the process, and I want to keep that history, and so I leave them the way they are, so I can always go back and so I can go back and then see where I'm at. I can see progress when I do that.
And I really like how you kind of add layers, add layers, add layers to a painting, and then you cover it in black and chip away at it. It's like you allow the work to take and find expression in itself. Is that done intentionally?
Yes.
Yeah. Why?
I don't know. It was just so like my process. I've just been developing it over time. So the layers and layers is just ideas and ideas. It was something that I realized happens when I used to make t-shirts. So this whole process it started from me making t-shirts. And I wanted to dry the t-shirts up quickly. So like I'll paint on them. I'll use a blow dryer to dry it up because I wanted to I was trying to work quick.
Yeah.
And one day I mistakenly scratched it while I was like drying it up with a blow dryer. And I realized that, there was it did the thing, really like a really, really cool thing. I was like, oh shit, let me build up on this. And so initially it was just layers and layers of ideas, but then I never added the black. The reason I started adding the black was because I started thinking about like, in the universe, the universe is really big and the bulk of it is this thing we attribute to this thing we call dark matter. Dark matter, dark energy. There's a bulk of it, and it's like 95% of it that we can't interact with. But it's everywhere and it holds everything together. And so I wanted to kind of like have that in the work also. I wanted that. So if you look at the work, you see a lot of colors, but if you really look at it, you see you see the in betweens and you see the black in betweens. If you really like pay attention to it, if you don't pay attention to it, all you're going to see is the color. But then if you look at it again, you're going to see the black and you're going to see how present it is all throughout the piece. So I wanted to kind of have that. I wanted to use the black to kind of like represent that aspect of the universe of all of this that we don't really know about, so we don't know how to interact with. And the point of it is holding it all with the black.
We've spoken about your art, and I do want to ask, like, how do you convey storytelling through your art?
Making it, sitting down with it, and kind of like feeling it out. I started doing this thing. An artist friend of mine, her name is Mujani. She said, just talk to the pieces, like sit down with them and talk to them, get to know them, And so that's what I do. I just sit down with them, I talk to them, and I notice things about them. I just start noticing things. And I just put all these things that I noted, put it together and make it cohesive. There's also that influence of like the whole spirituality and like, me trying to tie spirituality with science. So that's like a base, is like the background. But then, the stories kind of like sit on top of that.
I get that. And this is a great segue into my next question. You've mentioned how we're all stars. Like, how do you convey that in your work?
So, stars, so all the elements that we are made up of were made in stellar cores, and then these stars explode. And it's a process called stellar nucleosynthesis. It's how stars act as cosmic furnaces, fusing lighter elements into heavier ones under immense heat and pressure. And when the stars die, they explode and scatter these elements across the universe. Now, the stellar debris eventually coalesces and forms new stars, forms new planets, and even life. And so, like, in a very real, literal sense, we are made of stardust. Now, all of this takes place in an environment of intense heat and pressure, and my process mimics that. So I feel like that's my way of conveying that. Like, the process, it's in the process for me. Yeah, it's in the process of making, it's in process. Yeah.
So, like, how do you, as the artist, hope that your art impacts the people who view it? Like, are there any reactions or thought that you aim to evoke?
I hope it creates a sense of wonder within people. I hope it stirs up their curiosity, but not just only towards the cosmos, but to other aspects of life that may otherwise be missed. So just a sense of wonder, curiosity, like get them thinking. And they go, wow. Like, they see the work and they wear the glasses and then it's like, oh my God, it's jumping out at me. Oh my God, it's like I can put my hand inside. It's like creating another dimension for them. So it's like, it's something new for them. And I feel like that inspires people. Like people see my work and then they're like, oh my God, like artists see my work and they get inspired and they want to go to the studio and do some cool shit. Other people see my work and they really start thinking about like stars and shit, like the cosmos, just because I'm able to transform the experience for them, just because I'm able to like bring stars to them and present it to them in a way that's like digestible and pretty. And the reason we're taught to pay attention to the foreground rather than the background. And we forget that the background constitutes an essential role in the total experience of whatever you're experiencing. And our background is space. I just went to the rant.
Wow, so you bring that to the forefront. You make people look at it.
Yeah, look at stars. You come from them. You're related to them. And I'm also like really interested in creating a new context for us, one that includes stars and our concept of ancestry. Like we just completely ignore that. And I feel like it should be an aspect of, our ancestry. Like when we're contemplating it, when we're talking about it, it should be involved in some way. But we're so far from it. But I need to bring it to us.
Like on that concept itself, on stars and our ancestry.
Like this whole thing, I'm saying we come from stars. And I feel like, so I've been saying this thing, you are what you identify with. And whatever you identify with is the lens through which you experience everything. I identify with being a star. And so the way I move in the world, I don't feel restricted. I feel like a star.
Yeah.
Like I just adopt that mentality. Like I am a star.
And what does that look like? Like, what is that persona?
It just gives me confidence. I'm like blazing in my mind. I'm just like, oh, Mona, you. You feel me? Like, I'm just on top of my shit. I don't know. It really helps me. And I'm hoping it can help others. It might not be it's not going to be for everyone. It's only going to be, for probably a small few. But like,
But those who
I
it's
want to
for,
be.
it's for.
It's for
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. I'm curious, Wale, what challenges have you faced in your art journey, and like how do you overcome them?
Connections, networking.
Yeah.
That was my biggest. That's like it's not until recently I started like getting into the community and doing more, going like having more shows, like and going for more shows. I was kind of like a lone wolf for a very long time, and so I would say community is key. Like artists, you can't be alone. You have to be in a pack. That's how that's how to move in this
Mm.
industry. You have to have like your own pack of people that you move with. So that's like the biggest one for me, just community and networking. Money is a very, very strong factor, but there's so many things you can do for that. You can get a job if you want. You
Yeah. I wonder,
don't
does
have to just
freedom
be
play a role?
freedom.
Like, like, yeah, money, but like freedom. Like when I think of artist, I think of freedom.
Yeah, freedom. See, okay, me, it's not a challenge
Yeah, yeah,
for
yeah,
me.
yeah. No, no, no,
I
no, no.
I am free because I am an artist. I'm as free as I am because I identify with being an artist. Like being an artist is like a major part of my identity. And because of that, I feel like I have this freedom to be anything I want to be.
So speaking on there now, like what are the benefits of being an artist?
Like I said, I have the freedom to be anything I want to be. I can talk about concepts like God without feeling some type of way, without caring about anybody coming for me or saying shit. Well, I'm an artist. This is my view. This
Yeah.
is how I perspective. And I have every right to, to share it. I have every right to express my perspective on shit. Anybody can tell me anything.
Yeah.
So I love the freedom aspect of it. Like, and I've been different people over the years. I've been different Wales. I've changed my personality so many times, been different people so many times. And it's all because I'm an artist. I pin everything on I'm an artist. So whenever I'm trying out like a new look, a new hairstyle, a new this, a new whatever, I, I just pin it on. Oh, I'm an artist. I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah. That is so cool.
And I do it for so long, it just becomes me, and I forget whoever I was before that. Like that person doesn't matter anymore. It's like, and this is me now.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, now I'm also interested, like, how has being an artist also contributed to your personal growth and your understanding of yourself?
So like you were saying something earlier about like me evolving as the work evolves, and I believe like as you said, as I mature, the work evolves, and when the work evolves, I find myself growing in new directions. And like this cycle of development deepens my understanding of like both myself and the world around me. So like each piece becomes like a mirror reflecting my current state of mind. And so like it, the more I create, the more I discover how I'm connected to everything and like my place within it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Everything you're saying, like I'm experiencing it on a different level just because I have that tie to being an artist. And my art form necessarily now, presently, is not in drawing or 2D media anymore, but it's definitely in literature. And I find that like just that connection to the imagination, the way that it expands your world and just makes you like you're not here anymore. You don't exist in this realm. You exist in several different realms because of your imagination. So I just think it's like I'm really experiencing myself through you, through what you're experiencing. And like things that maybe I couldn't articulate. I'm just like, going through the experience much more. So that's pretty cool.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm really big on imagination. I think it's an
Uh,
actual place. I think it's an actual realm that exists. Like everything that exists in society, in life, in like physical reality, everything that exists that we've created for ourselves as a civilization was once an idea or a thought or an imagination. Someone thought about it and they pulled it from that realm and pulled it into this realm by creating it. And so we take it lightly when we say imagination, we just say imagination. But it's a very strong and important factor when it comes to like what we are. It plays a very important role. And so, like right now, I'm also exploring this. I'm exploring it's a realm I call the red place, and it's the realm of thought and imagination. So I'm bringing my imagination to life, and I call it the red place. And in the red place, anything is possible.
And where is that place in your in your head, in your imagination?
Around somewhere in my mind. It is my imagination. The red place is my imagination. I'm just creating. I'm just bringing it. I'm introducing it in my practice, and I'm making it an actual space in my practice where I can really play around. So it's not just in my head now. It's like an actual. It's real now for me.
Interesting. Okay, help me understand. But because I've been to your studio, so it's not like it's not your studio, but is it like a feeling? Is it an aura? What is it?
It's a feeling. So when red is, I like seeing red.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. Red is comfortable for me to look at.
Why?
I like looking.
Sorry, I
swear to God, I don't know what.
But no, when we were talking earlier, you mentioned like the color red and what it signifies for you.
Yeah, I like red, and red represents like this urgency, this intensity, and the imaginative space and how vast it is can be considered as unknown territory.
Yeah.
And like what red means to us, like there's an urgency to the color when we think about red. When we use red, there's this seriousness to it, and I wanted to really emphasize on how serious it is for me, how real it is for me.
So wait, you were saying something and I cut you off, but is it an aura? It's a feel? It's a state? What is the red place?
It's a feel, it's a state, but like I'm making it an actual place, an actual. I want to actually make it a place. So like I'm going to start doing these installations called the red place, and I'm going to completely paint the rooms red. And create experiences within it. I want to actually bring the red place. I want to bring my imagination out and make it real for people to experience, and not just like it's in my head and then I'm creating from there. No, I want to bring it. I want to bring the entire realm in here.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And how does it feel in the red place? Like, is it scary?
It's vast.
Vast.
But then it's vast. It's vast. You could almost say it's bigger than our universe. In fact, the universe exists within it. It's vast. But then I feel powerful because anything is possible in the right place. As long as I can think it, I can do it. And so I feel powerful. I feel like a god. I feel like God.
In the right place.
In the right place.
So, like, you have these eyes that are a recurring theme in a lot of your artwork. Is that from the red place as well?
Yeah, okay, so red eyes, if you're in a blue room, yeah, an all blue room, your eyes will reflect, like the color of your eyes will be blue, like the white side.
Yes.
Because of, how light works. It's just reflecting the room's color, the light in the room is just bouncing off your eyes. And so it's going to come up as blue. And so, like, my eyes being red just represents me, my constant presence in the red place. And it represents this intensity and depth of my imaginative experience.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool. And that's pretty cool. Like, it's looking at you. So is that trippy when you're making your artwork? Because it's looking at you, look at yourself, look at you.
Yes! I don't understand. It took me a while to, like, really get comfortable with having all these portraits around me. Like before, like in the house, sometimes I'll turn the portraits around because it's just so weird. I felt like I was looking at myself.
Yeah.
I was looking back because the eyes really looking like they're staring into your soul. And so it took me a while to like really get comfortable with them. But now I am. I feel like the more I got comfortable with myself and my ideas and just the things that I genuinely like, I started getting more comfortable with them. Like I was so terrified of exploring space before, like because it goes against everything I was brought up to believe. And so, and everything that goes against that is looked at as demonic or, wrong. And so I was very scared of really exploring it, because I was scared of like hell. I didn't want to offend God, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so for a very long time, especially in the beginning process, I was still like, getting used to, okay, this is what you're doing. This is the path you've chosen to take. So it was scary at first, but then I've been doing it for so long, and now I'm really comfortable in it. Broken past those boundaries that I, set for myself or was set for me. And I feel better. Now I can be in a room filled up with these red eyes, and I feel at home and at peace.
Wow. Wow. So speaking of, because the red eyes actually go straight into this, but could you tell us about your latest project, the Celestial Cartography of Adewale Alli?
So I wanted to create something other than the art,
Mm-hmm.
something that could make me immortal. It's another one of my Horcruxes, like in Harry Potter. You know how Voldemort has his Horcruxes and he just puts like pieces of himself.
Uh-huh.
So like to me, my art is how I get to live on forever. So it's how I'm making myself immortal.
That is so
And
cool.
the book is just another form of that.
That is so cool. Like, hey, it's okay. So I think about that too. Like, even with this podcast, like, for as long as it lives, even if, like, after I'm gone, as long as someone is listening to these podcasts, I'm still alive. And it's
You're
the
still
same
alive.
thing. Yeah, with art.
Yes.
And it's the same thing with music. And it's the same thing with books. That is so cool. Well, people don't think like that.
They don't. Like I have a post I just posted on Instagram, like me and Tiwa, and I was saying some shit like, what did I say? Eons have passed, yet we remain gods, untouched by time, eternal in our reign.
Wait,
It's
you
something
have to
to
say
that.
that slower so that everyone can
Oh,
hear you. Okay, say.
eons have passed, yet we remain gods, untouched by time, eternal in our reign.
Mm.
And so, like me and Tiwa have this thing where we just tell each other, like, we know we're not going to get old. We know we're not going to die. Why? Because we're immortal. We just tell each other that, yeah, we're immortal.
Yeah.
People talk about like old age or dying or whatever. We just, oh yeah, we're immortal. We don't die.
Yeah.
And we say it, but we say it with the intention, like at the back of our mind, we're saying it with the hope that the more we say it, the more real it becomes.
Well, you never know with this AI coming up. Okay, no.
You feel me?
Let me back up. But yeah, wow. Well, that is pretty cool. That is so cool. That is so cool. What like future goals and aspirations do you have as an artist, Wale?
Okay, so for me, that would be just installations,
Yeah.
like murals. I talk a lot about space and scale, and so I wanna make works that fully embody that energy. So I just want to get bigger and bigger. I just want to get bigger. I want to play with scale. I'm trying to. Okay, so this whole like God thing and space and all of that. So if we relate it back to my Christianity, they they go, okay, God is everything. And to me that sounds very small. They probably go as far as, oh, he created the heavens and the stars, and that's like as far as they go. But I want to actually like create a I want to like really double down on that. I want to create a better context. I want to really emphasize on how big is.
Yeah. Yeah.
You feel me? And so I'm really interested in like playing with scale. I want to get as big as I can. You feel
Yeah.
me?
Yeah. Because we commonalize big, right? So we don't
We
realize how
commonalize it.
big is. Yeah, I get it.
You just say big. Do you understand how big is?
Yeah.
Like, let me give you an example. Like, there are black holes out there that are our entire fucking solar system. Beside it, our solar system looks like a fucking grain of sand. Beside it, our solar system
Yeah.
looks like a speck of dust beside it. And those black holes are not even the biggest structures to exist. Things exist incredible scales out there. And all of these things are still an expression of this being we call God.
Yeah.
It's not just
Oh,
us.
isn't that beautiful though? That's so
You
crazy.
feel me? It's not just us. It's not just earth and the trees and the plants and the birds. That's cool. There's so much more that it's expressing.
Yeah.
There's an entire universe of being that it's expressing. It's so much bigger than what we imagine big to be. especially in a religious sense.
Yeah.
And so I really want to emphasize on that.
Wow. Do you consider yourself a deep thinker?
No.
I did not
I'm not a
expect
deep
that.
thinker. I get, don't get me wrong, I get lost in my thoughts, but then, they're like their theories, their concepts. I get lost in my own concepts, but like I wouldn't really consider myself. I mean, maybe, yes, okay,
Well,
yes. I think
I
that,
think this is
yes.
kind of deep because like I don't even think mentally. Like, do you understand? I'm doing mental gymnastics right now, trying to stretch my brain to understand, like, because like it is a lot. Like, this is a lot. Everything is a lot. And I just sometimes it's just like that's so overwhelming. So to be in a constant state where you are constantly thinking about scale and the stars and the soul, like I just like wow, wow, wow.
But now it's normal for me. Now the universe doesn't seem as big in my mind, and that's why I'm trying to explore new dimensions.
Mm.
I'm trying to I'm creating new dimensions in my work. I'm creating a dimension, and you know, and and a dimension where stars exist. Because I was thinking about how, like, on a smaller scale, the environment changes. So on our scale, it's a very different environment. And so, like on a star scale, they probably experience a very different environment compared to what we're experiencing. And so I'm creating an environment where stars exist. So it's another dimension, basically, right? Because I've been in this space for so long. I've been doing this for so long. It's not as overwhelming as it used to be. In fact, it's beginning to seem small.
Wow, wow, wow. So do you think there's something after the stars, after space?
Yeah.
Is that consciousness?
No.
You said what?
I didn't say anything. I just buttered a bunch of words.
Oh, so there's something after the stars?
So there has to be. It keeps going.
Yeah, right.
That's what I believe. I believe it just keeps. They're just things don't get big left to right or up and things get big dimensionally,
Yeah.
not necessarily up and down, left and right.
Okay, well,
So I just
you're
think,
busting my brain. All right, we have to come back down to earth.
okay, sorry. I was really gonna like start like because it's hard. We don't really have the language to explain it. So it's like I
Yeah.
have to like really find the words to really like hit it on the head.
Oh, wow. Okay. Like I followed you, but now we're talking about after stars. Like that's crazy.
Because like, okay, think about this. Okay, so think about this. So stars group together and they create galaxies. Guess what? Galaxies also group together at a bigger scale. Galaxies group together and create galaxy clusters. Now they group together and create superclusters. Now these superclusters are part of a much bigger scale called filaments.
Oh my gosh.
And these filaments are now part of a much bigger structure called the cosmic web. And now, these filaments that we're a part of that is so fucking big, it's only 5% of the cosmic web. The rest is dark matter, dark energy.
Wow.
And we don't even know how to interact with it.
Wow.
So all of these stars we're seeing, these galaxies, all these crazy shits out there, they're all just 5% of everything that's going on.
Not even so.
Like, can you imagine?
Not even. I just, wow. Okay.
So there's like a whole nother realm of shit happening that we know is there because we see its influence on the light. We see the influence on the stars, on the galaxies, but we can't interact with it.
We exist, so it's proof that it exists, right?
It exists, yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Very interesting. Okay, Wally. Wow. Okay. We need to come back down. All right. Now, my next question is, what advice would you give to an artist who is listening to us right now? And you can say anything, whether it be encouragement, motivation. What would you say to them?
Find that thing that is you and do it.
Elaborate,
find
please.
it. Find that thing that is you, that thing you love to do, that thing that makes your heart jump. When you think about it, like you just can't imagine yourself not doing this thing. You just love whatever this fucking thing is and do it. That's like my only advice. When you do that, find a pack, find a community to be a part of. Don't just try and do it yourself. You can't do it yourself. You need a team. Nobody can do this shit alone. You need a community. You need a family of like-minded people to help encourage you to keep going. If not, you're going to have to do it yourself. And that can be very difficult. That can lead to depression. That can lead to a lot, like anxiety. And, if you have your community and other like-minded people that you're probably bouncing ideas off of, just talking to, it helps you creatively. It helps you on your journey. And that's one thing I'm realizing, like being a part of this Baltimore community, and like it really has helped me grow as an artist, and like just with my practice and also career wise. So yeah, find that thing that is you and do it.
That was great. Thank you. Wale, we are down to our last few questions, actually. So, how can our listeners connect with you and learn more about your work and follow you? And also, this weekend is Artscape. I know you're doing really great things there, so tell us all about it.
So you can connect with me on Instagram at Wale Alli. That's WALEALLI. And you can email me at artlinebyali@gmail.com. I think everything should be on the website. And
yes, and we'll be below.
And Artscape. If you are in Baltimore, come check out Artscape. Come check out the B24 show. I'm going to be showing a really large piece called Light Trap. And it's going to be incredible. And I also have like 2 other pieces. I have another piece at the currency retail store, and I have another piece at the store. It's like a vintage store beside the currency space. So I have like multiple pieces. I have pieces around. So, and they're all like next to each other. So come for Artscape, come check it out. There's going to be a bunch more artists, really cool artists, just really cool work. And, you're going to be around really cool folks. It's a nice community out here.
Yeah.
So come check us out at Artscape at the B24. And, yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Wale, for coming on. Now, this is actually the last question. And usually I like to let our guests ask me a question since I spent the last hour grilling you. It's okay.
Okay.
You can go easy. It's okay.
What question do I want to ask you? The only question I want to ask you is how far, when are we starting our team? When are you joining my team? That's the only question I want to ask you.
After this episode.
That's the only question I want to ask you. When are you joining my team?
We will talk after this episode. Wale, thank you so much for coming on. It was a lot of fun talking to you. I hope you enjoyed it too.
So I did. It was nice. This was cool. It was not as nerve-wracking as I thought it was gonna be. But this was cool.
Thank you. Wasn't that so good? Getting Wale on the podcast just was nothing short of a privilege. Hearing his mind and understanding his artwork and being able to talk through it was just so special. And I loved the experience, and I loved being able to bring him on this episode on the podcast. If you want to get in contact with Wale, his contact information will be in the description below. And also, you do not have to go yet. Actually, right after this, I recorded bloopers quote unquote, with Wale, and it's just this and that. So if you want to hear more, keep listening. Make sure you follow us on all platforms. And also, rate this episode because it really helps us. And lastly, please, please, please pray all the time and laugh really, really loud. Bye. Are you ready?
Okay, let's run it.
Okay, so the first question is, which do you prefer, painting or sculptures? Oh, I also forgot. You get one skip.
One skip.
One skip. Mm-hmm.
So this is hard because that's a difficult one. So right now, I'm in this phase where I really want to get into like sculpting.
Yeah.
So that's all I've been like dreaming about lately, like just making stuff in actual space instead of like hanging stuff on the wall, like just bringing it into the space. So I would say, fuck it. I like painting.
Yeah.
I like painting because I can do that the 3D thing with the glasses where like the work comes out at you. So I like painting because of that. I'll pick painting because of that.
Okay. Second question, cosmic themes or earthly themes?
Cosmic.
I know. I knew it. This one's going to be interesting, but bright colors or monochromatic tones?
Ooh, monochromatic. That's
Why?
where it all started for me. I was never really into colors. I was a charcoal artist. I was terrified of colors, and my introduction into colors was me making these monochromatic paintings. So like they were kind of like my palette. So like I had like a blue painting, a red painting, a yellow. So the colors that I found interesting, and then little by little I started like integrating all of them together. So I would say monochromatic because that's how all of this started.
Studio work or outdoor inspiration?
Huh. So, okay, right now I'm in like in a very interesting transitional phase where I'm thinking a lot about like space and scale. And I'm really thinking about going outside. And I haven't started doing that yet. So I'll say studio work.
Studio work, but outdoor to be expected or to be explored?
Yeah. To be expected is going to happen. In fact, like it's going to happen. Hopefully by next year, doing installations in Baltimore a lot more. That's kind of like the goal right now. So I'm planning it. I'm working towards it. I'm putting a team together, and yeah. So to be expected.
Exciting. Oh, this is going to be very interesting. Abstract art or realistic art?
Abstract.
Yeah.
That's
Why?
it. It's fun. It's fun. You can play around with it. It doesn't have to be one thing. And I'm all about perspective and being able to see multiple things in one thing. Multiple perspectives in like one image. And so I would say abstract.
Yeah. Very interesting. Oh, this is going to be a good one too. Early morning creativity or late night inspiration?
Early morning or late nights. I've never gotten the chance to do, except for weekends. But I do more late nights. I would love to do early mornings. I think I love the energy that I have in the morning. I'm a morning person. I'm the type of person I'll get up 6 a.m. and go to the gym. I have like that energy in the morning. So I love early mornings, but I don't really get to do that because of work. So I've been doing mostly like late nights. So I'll say, yeah, I'll pick early morning though.
Interesting. Question number 8. Large canvases or small sketches?
Yeah, large. You already know what's
Yeah.
scale, baby. You already know.
Yeah. Your paintings are like huge. Like 7 feet.
8 feet.
Yeah. Oh my
9
goodness.
fact.
Wow. Do you ever do small? You do small, just sometimes.
Yeah. If let's say I'm maybe going through a block or I just want to just do something, so I'm not idle, I work small. I enjoy small. Can play around when you're working on a smaller scale. So from time to time, I'll just like throw out one or two small pieces. But I really enjoy working on a large scale. It's like you stand in front of the work and it almost feels overwhelming. And I love scale. I just love large. I'm a bigger than life type person.
Wow. Like that's so cool too, because it probably takes on its own like dimension, because it's as big as you, and some of the figures you have are like literally life-sized figures.
Yeah.
So that's pretty
like bigger than life size figures. They're huge. And then like even like building the stretcher up, like that whole process, and then like stretching it. It's a whole thing, but it's fun though.
Wow, pretty cool. Exhibiting your art in galleries or public installations?
See, you're making it very, very transitional. Like I'm moving from gallery into like public spaces. Like galleries, yes, I love exhibiting galleries, but like the art is for the people. And these galleries can be bougie and they have times and all that shit. I want people to just be able to access the work whenever, you know?
Yeah.
Like just be able to, they're going to this spot just to go check out an installation I did outside somewhere. And they can hang out around the work and, you know, just vibe.
And exist with the work. Like it's living. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, outside. I'll say outside. I like outside. I was started, but I have one mural outside though. I have one mural, not so having cool. But I'm gonna do some more, hopefully this summer, before the end of summer.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely do some more murals.
We can't wait to see that. Okay, last question. But this is, and I know this is going to be a fun one for you too, but traditional tools or digital mediums?
I like traditional. I like working with my hands.
Yeah.
I like building stuff. It's something, I don't know, something I started doing when I came to the country. My dad was in construction. So like, I picked up just like working with tools, like really early. And so it's just something that I'm used to. Whatever that I'm making has to have some type of construction element involved, like some type of building element involved in it. Digital is fun. I sit down on my iPad and sketch a bunch of cool shit. Oh my God, I haven't shown you my digital work yet. I'll show you that folder much later.
Oh, that's so cool.
But I like digital. Digital is fun, but I'm more of a traditional guy, hands-on.
Interesting. I'm so excited for this interview. Thank you so much. We've actually gone through the bloopers. I hope you're a little warmed up now.
Yeah, I am. I am.
All right.